Okay, welcome back. So in the previous class, we concluded the concept called what it is called exception handling. We completed. Okay. So in today's class, we'll start the concept of packages. Okay. So before going to see the details of the packages, so now let us discuss about the code tantra portion. Okay. Okay. So now we'll first we'll discuss about the concept of exception handling in code tantra portion. Okay, that also we have to complete. Okay, that's what I'm telling you. So please finish the earlier concepts also. Okay, so this exception handling also you need to finish under this code tantra platform. Okay, so go through this Java lesson plan. So exception handling maybe lesson number 45 static fields. Okay. So exception classes and their hierarchy of exception types. Okay. So this part we have to discuss. So understanding exception handling. So what are exceptions? As we discussed earlier, an exception by its very definition something which is not normal. Okay. So what is exception handling? That's what we will discuss already. Okay. It is a runtime error. Okay. So a runtime error is known as exception. Okay. So just like a division by zero error, this is what we discussed. Okay. So here in this example, integer number is equal to 35 and divisor is equals to 0. So int result is equal to number by divisor. So that is 34 by 0, 0. Okay, now which gives a runtime exception. Okay, that is known as I discussed earlier. Okay, arithmetic exception. Okay, exception in thread main java.lang dot arithmetic exception division by 0. Okay, at class name is exception demo 1 dot main. Okay, and the file name is exception demo 1 dot java and the line number is 1. Okay, so this is what the illustration of the exception. Okay, as we discussed earlier. So and coming to the question number 2. So how to read and understand exception stack trace. Okay, so this is what I told you. Uh, this is line number. This is the file name. Okay, and this is the class name as I told earlier. Okay, now please go through this and read out very carefully. Okay, then you can easily understand the scenarios. Okay, please read out this. And question number, how to read and understand the exception stack trace. So this is the continuation. Okay, so for example, if it is a number format exception, okay, so number format exception means this exception is raised when the conversion from strings to numbers is failed. That's what I told you. Conversion from string to number is failed, so automatically it raises an exception called number format exception. Okay, there is an exception known as number format exception, right? So now the same thing is happened here. Now for example, if the input is 4a, so now automatically the code raise an exception called number format exception. Okay, result is equal to, so now there is a function. In this function what I am doing is converting integer dot parseInt of number 1 text, integer dot parseInt of number 2 text. What is number 1 text 1? Text 1 is 3. Okay, now text 2 is 4a. Now 3 is a number, no problem. Okay, it is treated as string. So now you can convert this string to integer easily. But this 4a is there now. 4 is a string integer, a is character. Now when you combine this 4 and a, this will be treated as a complete string. Okay, so that this raise an exception. Okay, now see what happens. Now once you run the program, automatically it will gives you an error exception called number format exception. Now see here, now exception in thread main java.lang.number format exception. Okay, java dot lang dot number format exception for input string 4a. You got the exception for only input string 4a only. Okay, not for 3. 3 is anyhow that is a string which is successfully converted into integer. No issue with that. Okay, now this is the problem you got here. Okay, now see the description here. Okay, understand all of you. This type of error is known as number format exception. Okay, that also we concluded. Okay, now the next one is see here, right? Now this is the code exception demo 4. Okay, now string args. Okay, now once you compile this code and see what happens. Now submit. This is 1 2 3 here. Okay, now this is what exactly called array index out of bounds exception. This is called array index out of bounds exception. Index 4 out of bounds for the length. Okay, array index out of bounds exception. What is array index out of bounds exception? We know. Okay, array index out of bounds means when the index exceeds, okay, automatically, which gives an exception called array index out of bounds exception. Now to handle all these situations, what we need a mechanism called exception handling. We need a mechanism called exception handling. Okay, now before that we discussed the exception class hierarchy. Exception class hierarchy we covered. Okay, now this is the exception class hierarchy as we discussed earlier. Okay, now throwable. Now throwable is the base class for all. Okay, now throwable is the super class for all error classes and exception classes, whatever it may be. Okay, under this throwable, so there are two types of errors. One is called error and second one is exception. Okay, error and the exception. This is error and second one is exception. Okay, this is combined clubbed here. Okay, actually these two are the two separate items. Okay, first one is the error and second one is the exception. Okay, now under this error, so virtual machine error class is there. Under this virtual machine error class, out of memory error is there and stack overflow error is there. These two classes are comes under the virtual machine error class, and which in turn a subclass of error class. Okay, and coming to the second one, right hand side, this is the exception class. Okay, this is the exception class. Under this exception, right, now two types of exceptions are there. One is called runtime exception and second one is called IO exception. Okay, IO exceptions are the parse exception and second one is interrupted exception. Under this runtime exception, different types of exception classes are there. Just what you have discussed earlier. So null pointer exception, arithmetic exception, illegal argument exception, okay, and the number format exception and index out of bounds exception. Okay, under this index out of bounds exception, array index out of bounds exception, and string index out of bounds exception. These two are comes under this index out of bounds exception subclass. Okay, so now here the description is available here. So now throwable and all subclasses of throwable are not subclasses of either runtime or error, okay, are called the checked exceptions. Okay, so that is exceptions are generally classified into two categories. One is called the checked exceptions and the unchecked exceptions. Okay, so what are checked exceptions? Checked exception means, so in the above class hierarchy, throwable and all the subclasses of throwable, okay, and that and it's all the subclasses of throwable that are not subclasses of either runtime exception or error are comes under the checked exceptions. Okay, and all other subclasses of error and runtime exceptions are called unchecked exceptions. Okay, checked exceptions means you can find at the compilation time. Okay, whereas unchecked exceptions means you cannot find those exceptions at runtime, compile time. Sorry. Okay, during compilation time, if you are unable to detect, okay, such type of errors are called unchecked exceptions. Okay, understand all of you. This is what we discussed earlier. Okay, now please read the paragraph and answer the questions very carefully. Okay. So now this is the understanding checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions. Okay. So what is exception means? An exception is nothing but a signal and error condition. Okay. Signals and error condition is known as exception. Okay. Now exception handling is generally handled by using two blocks as I told earlier. What are those important two blocks? One is the try block and second one is the catch block. One is the try block and second one is the catch block. Okay. So our block are propagating the exception to the caller. Okay. So now whenever there is an exception, what happened? The compiler flags an error if you invoke the methods, okay, which throws the checked exceptions and do not handle them. Okay. So now for example, this is what I told you, thread.sleep method. This throws an exception called interrupted exception. Okay. This method throws an exception called interrupted exception. Okay. So now for example, when you are using this method, now the compiler automatically detects the exception, what it is throwing exactly, what it is throwing interrupted exception. This is the exception which is thrown by the method called sleep method. Now this fact is identified by the compiler. Okay, whenever you compile your code, okay, this is called the checked exception because this is a checked exception so that the compiler easily detect. Okay. So that what you have to do is, in order to avoid the problem, what you can do is you can simply put this code inside the try catch block. Okay. Try block, when you call this method thread.sleep 2000 and immediately catch. Okay. Immediately catch. So e dot print stack trace. Okay. For example, so when you submit this, so now automatically reports an exception. Okay. That is interrupted exception. Okay. This method throws an exception called interrupted exception. Which method? Thread.sleep. Okay, so it must be caught or thrown. Okay, this is what I told you earlier. Okay, when we are discussing about the concept of exception handling. Okay, this also we covered. Okay, please try to finish all these lessons. Okay. So next one is the checked and unchecked exceptions. So now how to handle this? So now using the try catch block, you can handle it. Okay. Now inside this try, you can simply call this. So automatically it will shows you an error message. Okay. Now could not parse text. Okay. So because this 44a is a string, we cannot convert this string into integer. So that what you have to do, include the try and catch blocks automatically, which detects the exception. Now see here. Okay. So just retype this. So retype the code and compile it. Then you will find the usage of this. Okay. So now see here, automatically it will show you an exception. Okay. Now 33 you can easily convert. Okay. But 44a is there now. You cannot convert this 44a into integer. So hence automatically it will show you another message. Okay. Now next one is the stack overflow error. Okay. Now stack overflow is a subclass of the error as I shown in the error class. Okay. So now while executing the Java code, what happens is now JVM exhausts the stack space available to store the method call information. Okay, suppose if you are calling the methods recursively means suppose if M1 is there and M2 is there, M1 is called inside M2, again inside M2, again if you are calling M1, M1 to M2, M1 to M2, M2 M1, M2 M1 like that, if the call is repeated forever, then there is no space in the stack. Okay. So automatically it throws an error message called stack overflow. It throws an error message known as stack overflow. Okay. Now see here. Okay. So now this is the main method. Inside main method, what I did is, so I called some method here. Okay, I called one method known as sum method. Now within this sum method, what I did is inside try, again I called the sum method, same method, that is repeatedly it is calling some method and some method and some method and some method, some method. Then what happens? Automatically the control goes to infinite loop, that is known as Stack Overflow. Now you have to handle. If you want to find this fact, what you have to do is use the class known as Stack Overflow error. Okay, inside this catch, simply use Stack Overflow. Now this will gives you the information related to the Stack Overflow. Okay, so simply copy paste the error in the code. Okay, Stack Overflow is occurred when you call the method inside the method, same method within the method, then automatically, so it will throws you an exception called Stack Overflow. Okay, this is about the simple try catch. And next lesson what we discussed is exceptions, byte streams. Okay, next one is here the 48, lesson number 48. Okay, try catch and finally. Okay, so try catch. So try block and catch block we know already. Okay, now the try block consists of the syntax for a try catch finally syntax is given here. Okay, now try block consists of the code which generates exception. Catch block means to handle the exception. Okay, so finally means which executes always irrespective of the exception may be caught or not. Okay, that's what we will discuss earlier also. Okay, now this is a simple example for try catch and finally. Try catch and finally. Now this is the text, right? I'm converting this text string to integer. Automatically tries an exception called number format exception. Number format exception. Now you have to handle this number format exception, right? Now copy the code and paste here. Okay, this is a inside finally block. The finally block will execute always. Okay, this is the question number 1. Next, what is question number 2? Okay, this is the syntax of try catch finally. Okay, syntax of try catch finally. Okay, now try block and catch. Now catch exception type. Okay, and the last one is the finally block. Okay, so now please go through the question and answer it. Okay, now try catch finally syntax. Okay, so example, right? This is, there is a copyright program here. Okay, please go through this. Now here text 3 is there. Okay, this is text 1 and value 1. Now value 1 is equal to integer dot percent of text 1. Now text 1 is actually, this is 3, so that you can easily convert. Okay, no issue with this. There is no number format exception here. Okay, and this is the finally block, always executes, no issue. Now coming to the second case, string text2 is 4G. Now you cannot convert this 4G into string integer, hence you will raise an exception called number format exception here. Okay, now in the first case there is no exception, but in the second case there will be an exception. Okay, now see here, right? So now this is the successfully parsed the first one. Now finally block is executed. Now case number 2, you cannot parse, unable to parse text2 as integer. Now inside finally block 2. Okay, so clear. So please copy paste and execute the program. Okay, So the next one is the multiple usage of try catch. Okay, multiple catch clauses. All right. So please go through this. Okay, how to use multiple catch. Okay, that means so sometimes we can combine these multiple exceptions also. Okay, single catch block. So catch exception class name 1, class name 2, and then reference variable. Okay. So please go through this and answer the question. Okay. So this is the program to handle arithmetic exception. Okay. So please write a program to handle arithmetic exception. Arithmetic exception means a division by 0. Okay. So whenever there is a division by 0 inside the catch, what you have to do? Catch the arithmetic exception E and then print E dot get stack trace. Use the method E dot get stack trace automatically, which prints divided by 0 occurred. Okay. This is what we discussed already. And question number 6, finally blank. So finally blank means at the end what you have to do is two finally blocks you can use. First take the two variables. Okay. So one is called 10 4 10 4. Okay, there is no exception at all here. Okay, 10 4 and 10 4, there is no problem, but here 5 0 and 3.8 and 5.0. Okay, this is 5 by 0 means this is an arithmetic exception. Okay, but 3.8 by 0.0 means there is a provision to display the division by 0 in floating point numbers. What it is? Infinity. Infinity will be printed. The result of float division is infinity. The result of integer division by 0 is arithmetic exception. This is what we discussed already. Okay. So please write the program accordingly. And the seventh one is the multiple catch blocks. Multiple catch blocks. Right? That means in a single program, a single try may throw multiple exceptions. Right? So in such case, what we need? Multiple catch blocks are required. Okay. So that also we discussed already. Okay. Please use the concept of multiple catch blocks. Right? So this is lesson number 48. Okay. And lesson number 49 we will discuss and come back to the concept of so throw and throws. Okay. Last one, exception handling. So throw means creating our own exceptions. Okay. If you want to throw the exception explicitly, what we need? We need the keyword called throw. Okay. So throw and a throwable instance here. You can specify the throwable instance. Okay. So now throw new exception. The world is about to end. Okay. If you want to throw the exception manually, what you have to do is use the keyword throw. Okay. Use the keyword throw. So please go through the program and retype the code. Okay. So here the simple program you have to write, right, to illustrate the use of throw keyword. Okay. So please understand the above earlier program. Okay. So what you have to do is write a class. What is that class name? Throw examples. Contains the method called check eligibility, integer age comma weight. Okay. So now it throws an arithmetic exception. What it is? With a message, student is not eligible for registration. So when age less than 12 and the weight less than 40. Okay. Now use one if condition. Okay. If age less than 12 and weight less than 40, then throw arithmetic exception, throw new arithmetic exception within bracket student entry is valid. Okay, student entry is valid. Throw an exception, otherwise else student entry is valid. Okay, understand? If it is this one less than 12 and less than 40, throw arithmetic exception within brackets, student is not eligible for registration. Student is not eligible for registration. Okay, now in the main there are two command line arguments, age and weight, which converts them into integer. Okay, converts them into integer and throw the exception accordingly. Okay, this is the simple program which illustrates throw. So next, throw is also used to create our own exceptions. Okay, that is also known as user defined exceptions, as we discussed earlier. Okay, user defined exceptions. We can also create our own exceptions called user defined exceptions. Okay, so invalid name exception and invalid age exception. Invalid name exception or invalid age exception. So it is a user defined exception, this one. Okay, it is a user defined exception. It is also known as the custom exceptions. Okay, now this one, invalid name exception, invalid age exception. Okay, now to create our own exceptions, what I told earlier is our class must extend the exception class. Class must extend exception class. Okay, invalid name and invalid age exceptions. Okay, so this is what I told you earlier. Okay, same thing is there here. Okay, now using throw and throw keyword, what you have to do is we can create our own exceptions known as user defined exceptions. Okay, now this is another example which illustrates the use of user defined exceptions. Now please complete these two programs. Okay, creating our own exception classes. Okay, so this is regarding the Code Tantra portion of our exception handling. Okay, please finish the programs in Code Tantra portion, and then we'll come back to this next concept known as packages. Okay, so now before going to see the concept of packages, now let us discuss about reusability. So what is meant by reusability actually? Okay, what is meant by reusability? Reusability means so reusing the existing okay, reusing the existing things known as the classes. Okay, so now one of the striking feature of object oriented programming is reusability. Striking feature of object oriented programming is reusability. Reusability means using the existing classes. The process of using the existing classes again and again is known as the concept of reusability. Okay, now we can achieve the concept of reusability. Okay, using inheritance. One of the feature is inheritance. Okay, we know the feature of inheritance. Feature of object oriented programming is called inheritance. Okay, inheritance. Now what inheritance offers actually? Inheritance offers the concept of reusability. Okay, that is the object oriented, the main feature of the object oriented programming is that is inheritance. Okay, now inheritance provides or it has an ability to reuse the code already created or the class which is already created. Okay, that means suppose the class is already there here. If a class, now class A is already there here. Okay, the class is already there. Okay, then if you want to reuse this, then what you have to do is use the concept called inheritance. Now the class A, class B extends class A. Class B extends class A. That means the class B acquires the properties of the class A. class B acquires the properties of so class B acquires the properties of class A. Okay, now class A is already defined class. Class A is already defined class. Now what you have to do is let us create another class B. Now B acquires the properties of class A. Now this is called the reusability. This is known as reusability. Now, but this reusability is limited to reusing the classes within a program. Okay. Now, in order to reuse the class A in class B, both class A and class B must be in a single program. Otherwise, you cannot use class A in class B. That is the disadvantage of the concept of inheritance. Understand all of you? How to achieve reusability? You can achieve reusability using the concept of inheritance, but it is not 100% practical reusability. Okay, that means whenever you want to reuse the class A in class B, what you have to do? The class A must be present here. Class A must be present here. Without rewriting class A here, you cannot reuse in class B. Okay, that is the reusability limited to the program here. Okay, so both the classes should be available within the same program, otherwise the reusability will not be achieved. Suppose if you need to use the classes from other programs without physically copying them into the program under development, then how? Okay, now suppose this is my program, okay. So what is this class? Suppose I am writing a class here. Now class X, okay, there is a class called X here, okay, and this is another class is available here. One class, this is another class is available here. What is this class name here? Now this is suppose this is class A, okay, this is class B. Suppose this is class A and this is class B. Now what I want to do is I want to use, okay, what I want to do is I want to use this class A in class X and class B also in class X. I want to reuse, okay, I want to use suppose the class A here, okay, and the class B here. I want to reuse class A and class B in class X without rewriting it. Please remember, without rewriting class A and class B again here. So because here some class A and class B are having its own implementations here already. Okay, class A is already implemented and class B is already implemented here. Okay, now their implementations are already available. Now without rewriting class A and class B in this program, okay, now what is the program here? This is the program. Suppose my program name is so prg.java here. My program name is prg.java. Okay, here the program name is prg.java, which is already there here. Suppose, okay, this is my program. Within this program, what I want to do is I want to reuse class A and class B, class A and class B here. Then what you have to do? Now in this case, inheritance is not sufficient. Inheritance is limited to the program only. Okay, this is a program level reusability. Okay, this is a program level reusability you can achieve. This can be accomplished. That is a program level reusability is accomplished using inheritance. Okay, but suppose without rewriting the classes, already available classes, okay, now if you want to reuse, then what you have to do is we need to use a different concept which is known as package. Such a concept is known as packages. Okay, now the packages offers the complete and 100% reusability of the classes. Okay. Now the reusability is achieved by using the concept known as packages. Okay, this is somewhat similar to the concept of class libraries. Okay, so this is another way of achieving the reusability in Java. Okay, another way of reusability, how to achieve reusability in Java by using the concept known as packages. Understand, all of you? What is the advantage, what is the usage or the reason behind the usage of packages is in order to achieve the reusability. Okay, reusability is also achieved by using inheritance, but there is a limitation in inheritance. What is that limitation? Inheritance offers the class level or the program level reusability. Inheritance offers program level reusability. Okay, so now let us see the definition of the package, simple definition of the package, and what are the benefits of the packages. Okay, and then we'll discuss about the concept of packages in detail one by one. Now first let us write down what is meant by a package. Okay, so the very first bullet point you can write is, so a package is a collection of related classes or interfaces. This is a simple definition of a package. Okay, what is package? Package is nothing but a logical grouping of, or the way of grouping a variety of classes and interfaces into a single unit. Such a unit is known as package. Okay, understand, all of you? So now this grouping is generally done according to functionality. Okay, so in fact packages acts as containers in some cases, containers for classes, right? So that means package generally consists of the list of packages. Okay, sorry, list of classes. So now by organizing our classes into packages, so now we achieve different benefits. Okay, now let us write down the what are the various benefits. Okay, so the following are the benefits of packages. Okay, so now write down the first one. What is the first benefit of package? The very first benefit of package is, so the classes contained in the packages of other programs, so can be easily reused. Okay, that is the reusability anyhow. Okay, so now two classes in two different packages, okay, different packages can have the same name. Okay, can have the same name. That means we can avoid the naming conflicts. Okay, we can avoid the naming conflicts. That is the second advantage. And the third one is, so packages provide a way so to hide classes. Okay, so thus preventing, okay, thus it prevents the other programs or packages, other programs or packages from accessing classes so that are meant for internal use only. Okay, right? Now packages provide a way to hide the classes, right? Hiding the classes. So it prevents the other programs or other packages from accessing the classes that are only meant for internal use. Internal use only means it is dedicated to the particular purpose only. Okay. Now other programs and other classes cannot be used. Okay. And the last one, packages also provide a way for separating, okay, design from coding, design from coding. Okay, so that is first what you have to do is first we can design the classes and then decide the relationships. Okay, so and then we can implement the Java code, so that is needed for the methods. Okay, so that means the classes and the interfaces, what are we required and what are the methods which are required. First you have to design the structure of the program and then you can implement the program one by one. Okay, understand all of you. And later on if you want to modify the implementations of any method, that is also possible without affecting the rest of the design. Okay, this is the advantage of the packages. Okay, so please note down the 4 important benefits of the packages. Okay, benefits of the packages. So please note down the important points. Okay, so and then we will see what are the various built-in packages in Java. Okay, Java API packages. Okay, okay, over. I think completed this, right? So I am deleting this portion. So now next write down Java application programming interface API packages. That is Java also contains its predefined or built-in packages. Okay. So now for example, if you consider this, this is the Java. Now it consists of some set of packages. Okay. So this is one package. This is another 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 package. Okay. So now this package is known as lang package. This is called the lang package. Second one is called the util package. And third one is called the IO package. And fourth one is called the AWT package. Fifth one is called the net package. And the last one is called the applet package. So these are all the predefined Java API packages. Okay, these are all predefined API classes. Predefined API classes. Okay, understand all of you, right? So now what is the first package? The very first package is java.lang package. Now it provides, so package means as I told earlier, what is a package? Package is nothing but collection of classes and interfaces, that's all. Okay. Now what java.lang package offers? Now the java.lang package provides language support classes. Okay. Language support classes. Okay. Language support classes means, so examples are language support classes means, so classes required for primitive type classes, okay, and string classes and the math functions, okay, math functions. So threads and exceptions, okay, threads and exceptions. So threads and exceptions, these are all the classes provided by java.lang package. Okay, and the next one is java.util. Java.util package provides the language utility classes. Okay, language utility classes. Language utility classes means such as, so vectors, okay, such as vectors and the as tables, vectors, as tables, and random numbers, comma, date, so etc. Okay, these are all classes provided by java.util package. And the next one is java.io package. Now the java.io package provides input output supported classes. Input output support classes. Okay. Input output support classes that is required for data input and data output. And the next one is java.awt package. Now awt package provides set of classes for implementing graphical user interface programming, implementing GI programs. GI programs means such as buttons, okay, and lists and menus and so on. Okay, these are all comes under AWT package. And the next one is java.net package. Java.net package provides so classes for network programming. Classes for network programming. And next one is java.applet. So this provides classes for creating applet. Creating and implementing applets. Okay. Now these are all the predefined packages available in Java API. These are all comes under Java API packages. Java API packages. So please note down. So this is about what is package and what are the benefits of packages. Okay, what is package and what are the benefits of packages, and what are Java API packages. Okay, so thank you. So in the next class, we'll discuss about how to create our own packages, user defined packages, right?